Matters of love. Are you and your partner in sync? Is he the cream to your latte? Are you the bacon to his butty? Or do you gel more like oil and water?
Did you make that up?
No, that's written down. I'm claiming
Well,
it.
as the International Day of Love approaches, we're asking how you can compliment your partner and have the perfect date. And guiding us through it is relationship expert, author and psychotherapist David Kavanagh. Good morning to you, David.
Good morning, David. How are you?
David, we were having a good chat there. And before we talk about our behaviour at a first date, can we talk about the ideal places? Because you were saying coffee shop tends to be, you know, meet for a coffee tends to be kind of the first obvious thing to do.
Sure.
But you're not necessarily sold on that option.
Not necessarily. I mean, it depends on how much you find the person attractive to begin with. So if you know what the person looks like and you think, yeah, this person is particularly attractive to me. So, you know, ideally the place that you meet should be kind of maybe dim lighting, because dim lighting makes the pupils dilate. And when our pupils dilate, it means we find our partners more attractive. Because large pupils are actually more attractive than thin pupils. So bright lights is like now, for example, isn't an ideal first date. So it's kind of going someplace where you have that shared experience of intimacy and not too loud as well. You were saying about someplace that's too loud as well.
Yeah. Because I was asking you, like, is there a, as you said before we get on to the actual date itself, is there a perfect venue? And it depends on the circumstances, really, whether you know the person, whether it's a first date.
It does. And their preference as well. So if they're very chatty, then going someplace that's loud and busy can be absolutely fine. But if they're very quiet and kind of not too into the conversations, then maybe, you know, you have to kind of gauge that stuff as well. It's very important.
OK, well then let's say we've picked the perfect venue.
Yes.
When we get there, let's talk about the etiquette, the things to do and not to do.
Sure.
So are there flags that we should be looking out for?
Yeah, well, so like if you're having a conversation with somebody, try not to use one-line answers. So like don't be so monosyllabic that you're just kind of yes, no, maybe, whatever. Try and keep the conversation going and be a little bit more fun and interesting. And if you're talking about yourself, don't be narcissistic.
Yeah, because there's a fine line, isn't there, between talking too much about yourself and not inquiring about someone else.
And you're trying to build commonalities or build rapport with the person that you're on the date with. So you're talking about stuff that they might be interested in as well. Not just about your own kind of exploits, your adventures, what you've done that's amazing for yourself. You're trying to build bridges between you and the person.
It's trying to find common ground, really, isn't it? If you ask your date a question and they say, oh, yeah, and I spent a bit of time in Italy, and you go, actually, I was there.
I was there.
So there's your common ground.
Exactly.
So let them speak. And
kind of, yeah. So you're being led by your partner or by your date in this case. And that's really, really important. So you're giving people an opportunity to talk about themselves as well. Very, very useful.
Don't answer your phone.
Don't answer.
The phones are the bane of a date, aren't they, really?
They are, and don't even be looking at your phone. Now, it's a kind of a thing where, you know, if the person you're on a date with goes off to the toilet, then you check out your phone, you take an Instagram pic, do whatever. What if you don't do that? What if you just stay present to the date and you don't distract yourself with your phone? Just kind of let the person come back and you're there with them, as opposed to, oh, sorry, put my phone away.
Well, would you say that day, would you say to your date, like, you know, if we sat down for dinner and I said to you, listen, let's just leave our phones in the middle of the table and have a chat, would you go... Yeah, right, okay. No.
Would you think the person's a little bit controlling?
Would you suggest it? Would you suggest it? Or?
Well, on the first date, you probably wouldn't.
No.
But if it's somebody in a relationship with, then, you know, as a therapist, I'm recommending to couples all the time, put the phones away.
Put the phone away.
Turn off the iPad, turn off everything. Just connect with each other. And it's something that we're kind of losing sight of is how important it is to just look at each other and connect. It's really important.
Don't dress down is an interesting note. What's behind that now?
So making an effort. So if you're trying to impress somebody, which obviously a date should be an opportunity to impress somebody, don't just be very, very casual and kind of like, I don't really care what I look like.
Make an effort.
Make an effort. Or people often say, you know, well, if they love me or if they like me, they should just like me for who I am. Well, no, make an effort. Because it tells the person that you actually value their opinion enough that you've dressed up. Now, it depends on...
You don't want to look too keen either, though, David, do you?
You don't want to be too sharp or too sophisticated. But again...
In tux and a white scarf.
But like for Starbucks at 1 o'clock, you can't wear a dress. Obviously not. So it's that kind of stuff. Well, maybe you can. Yeah. But it's that kind of... You know, where am I going to go to have the date? So what you wear, obviously, is matched up to that as well.
Needs to be appropriate to the venue.
So. I think so.
I loved something that we spoke about before we came on air. You were saying that a date needs certain elements.
Yes.
Particularly a first date. You were saying, is it fun, excitement and mystery or something? What was that you were saying to us?
The ideal first date or the ideal date for, you know, in a long-term relationship has a bit of mystery, a bit of fun and a bit of excitement. So if you're of an age where you can invite somebody to do something different, for example, different than just going for dinner or going for a lunch date. And they're up for it. They, you know, say you say to somebody, let's go rock climbing, for example, or let's go and do some hovercrafting as a first date. And the person says, okay, let's do a bit of hovercrafting, whatever, as the case may be. Then there's a bit of dopamine kind of being building. Dopamine is this chemical that we're all addicted to. So when you're checking your smartphone continuously, you're waiting for this dopamine hit to see what's coming next. Our emails or photographs or whatever's on Facebook that's being liked, for example, gives us a hit of dopamine. So if you're about to do something that you've never done before, you're going to be excited, a bit nervous, and it's a little bit of mystery as well. So what that does is it builds up the chemicals in the brain, and those chemicals make you find your partner more attractive.
So think about adventurous dates.
Things, ideally, yeah. If you can do something
different
they've never done before, then you'll stand out in your date's memory for all the good reasons, hopefully.
And that doesn't just go for first dates, that's for
long-term relationships,
couples
especially.
life in general, isn't it?
I mean, dinner is great, but it's just dinner. But if you tell your partner of 10 years, 20 years, we're going to do X, Y, and Z this weekend. Really? But I've never done that before. I'm terrified. That's actually a good thing.
Yeah, pushing yourselves out of your comfort zone. Can we talk about something that always gets our office in particular talking and debating and fighting over this? Who's going to pay the bill? Okay. What happens on the first date?
Obviously, in the first date, the guy should be paying the bill.
Right.
So it happened to a friend of mine recently where he had a date with somebody who was a little bit older, and she just put the money down for the date, for the dinner, and he just let that be. And I was like, did you actually let her pay? And he said, yeah, I didn't know what to do. Never do that. As the guy, you have to pay.
And why is it obvious that the man should pay, given we're all about equal rights and, you know?
I think it's just common decency, especially if the guy's done the invitation.
Oh, but a modern woman not think this guy is so old-fashioned, expecting. Does he not think I can pay for it?
Some women do, but the majority of women, from my experience anyway, would say, no, it's just polite. At least he should offer. And then if she wants to go Dutch, that's absolutely fine. That's great. That's wonderful in terms of quality and stuff. But I mean, I think men kind of would like to
just make the offer even.
Make the offer at least. And then, you know, I think reciprocation is very important.
So you think we're still traditional in that sense
can be.
of expecting the man to pay?
I think we can be, yeah.
And would you take that further in terms of if it's a first date, you know, would you hold her chair for her? Would you take her coat off her?
Depends on the age category, doesn't it? I mean, if somebody's in their 50s and 60s, then absolutely you would behave like that. But if somebody's in their 20s and, you know...
Let the door slam in her face.
Yeah, you're right. Come on.
Good luck.
By the way, you're paying.
You wanted equal rights.
It's a minefield.
It's a minefield. It really is.
I actually have great sympathy for lads because I think it's so hard to get it right.
It's not easy anymore.
No, it's not.
Well,
David,
thank you for the tips and thank you for coming and see us.
I think you're doing well if you get the date.
Yeah, exactly.
You have someone to go out on a date with.